Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my weekly review for this week's episode of Game of Thrones Season 7. This is for episode 4, The Spoils of War. And big time spoiler warning, if you have not seen this episode for Game of Thrones Season 7 yet, this episode was incredible, man. Oh my god, this is one of the best episodes they have ever done for sure. This thing was better than a movie, man. I mean, I never seen... this was one of the most epic episodes they've ever done, for sure. I mean, they've done some really epic episodes for Game of Thrones, but this was just so awesome because, of course, setting us up for this position with kind of the start of the season with the Lannisters pretty much sweeping Daenerys and her forces up until now. This one was so great to see, Daenerys finally enough with the clever plans and go after the Lannisters, go after the bulk of their army as it's heading back to King's Landing, the Tarleys and Bron, of course, and Jaime. The ending battle, the ending battle sequence, oh man, just, I'm still processing everything. Amazing, man. I mean, one of the most epic confrontations of the whole series, to get to see Bron on the side of Jaime and the others just being like, oh, fuck. He's got the Ballista and everything, and he's aiming up at the dragon. You see the dragon coming down, you hear her say Dracarys. And there was some of the most epic scenes ever, man. You see the first one miss, and then the second one hits him, and you're just like, oh my god, it's going to go down. What's going to happen? I mean, oh man. And then, the fire and just the way that the flames came down, the dragon flame, I mean, amazing. I mean, the scene when it first starts, and I love that Bron is kept to it first. Like, he hears it first, and he's like, wait, hold on a second. And he hears it, and it's like a storm. It's like a storm coming towards him. And you see the Dothraki, the horses everywhere, just like a huge line. And Bron tells him that you better get out of here. This is not. We're just about to get swarmed. We're about to get destroyed because Bron knows right away that they are fucked. I mean, the front line just gets. Oh, and then you see the dragon come down, and that's the icing on the cake right there, to where it's just like the confusion and everything, because we never really seen that in the series up until now. We've seen the dragons, they've been there. You've had the talk the whole time all the way through back to season 1, where Robert talks about the Dothraki and being like, only a fool would face them in the field, in the open. Even he talked about, well, you're going to have to hide behind your castle against the horse lords of the Dothraki, because they're gonna crush you. They're gonna crush you. And in this episode, we see, so you see the dragon come down, you see the line, you hear them holding the line, and my hair was just standing up on the end of my arms. I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. And then when they crash in, and I'm just totally fanboying out right now, right? But the dragon comes down. The first Dracarys was one of the most epic things in the whole series, because you see Daenerys there, you see the dragon, you see Dracarys, but the way they portray the flame as it comes through, and I thought some of the really nice touches here were, and it made this very avant-garde. I have never seen a fantasy show done like that, ever. I mean, I have never seen from the perspective, because we get both sides with Game of Thrones. We get to understand what it's like from Daenerys' side, but we also get to see, I don't really want Bron to be killed off, because Bron, of course, is one of my favorite characters from the very first season. I've grown to like Jaime. I actually do like Jaime, even though he's clearly on the wrong side. So it's kind of like this feeling of like, you get to feel it from both sides. And from this one, we get to see it from their perspective as they just get crushed, as they just get smashed by the Dothraki after the line is broken from the the dragon fire. I mean, oh my god, was that not one of the most epic things ever? The flames and all the guys, the Lannister men that are they're on fire and they're moving and stuff, and you just see their bodies and they're just disintegrating from the heat and everything, and just the angles and everything was just. It was amazing because it drove home a sense of danger and a sense of just that I've never just just brutality that you would never see in any other, fantasy series. Usually fantasy is done in a way where if you have dragons, it's like The Hobbit or something, right? One side the good guys totally win, nobody dies, nobody gets lost, the dragon is whatever, and, everything works, everybody's fine. In this one, you get kind of a more adult, honest sense of what warfare is like, where if there really was a dragon there and, it breathed fire, and you see this thing come crashing down on you like a freaking just the start of a tidal wave of horses and everything just crushing your front line. It was amazing. It was incredible. So, I'm trying to pick, what was the most epic part of the ending battle, and I can't really decide. I almost want to say it's when Tyrion sees his brother. He sees Jaime. Jaime sees an opportunity, right? Jaime's like, oh, this is probably our only chance to get this girl, right? He sees her. He sees the blonde hair and everything. He knows it's her, the dragon and all that. So he sees, like a spear in range. He goes up and grabs it, and then he starts going towards her and everything. And, when Tyrion says, fly, you idiot, or flee, you idiot. And you fucking idiot. I also love that scene, fucking idiot. And the way Bron just narrowly saves him, because it did feel a bit like plot armor, I'll be honest with you, but I'm okay with it because, it's like, I don't want to see Jaime be killed. I don't want to see Bron be killed. I just want to see him lose. That's it, right? And in this one, we do get to see that. Just all the Lannister men in flames and just being crushed by the Dothraki and the swords and everything from leverage point, being up on the horseback, coming down, and their speed and everything. It was just so cool to get to see. And I think the Dothraki are like the unsung stars of this episode. Everyone's going to talk about the dragons, but the Dothraki, getting to see them actually fight like this was just, it was what Robert had talked about in the very first season. You can't do it. You can't fight them in the field like that. You're going to get crushed. Their speed, the force that they hit them with, just the velocity. Because, of course, when it comes to power, you got, the speed and everything just kind of just croop, just into them all. So this had the battle at the end was just unbelievable. I was scared through a lot of it because this one wasn't spoiled for me. I didn't know any of the events that were going to take place in this one. The Bron stuff, I was scared for Bron. At a part, I thought they were going to kill Bron off. At the end there, I thought that might be Jaime's last scene. I really did. I was like, oh man, he's going to get torched right now. And I was also a little bit scared for Daenerys too, because I was like, what if Jaime can do this as he's riding? My brain is just processing all this as he's going. What if he can somehow throw get her or something, right? And before the dragon's hurt, is he going to be able to? But he's still able to defend his mother, right? So, just all in all, that ending battle, spears, right? When they're Jaime and Bron are going down, Tarly goes down, Randall, and he's calling for spears, and you got Dickon there who saves Jaime, and so much craziness. All in all I'm really saying is the final scene in this one, it's usually like with a lot of series and with a lot of movies, there's a setup to a climax, but a lot of times the climax can let you down. You hear about okay, so there's dragons and everybody's so scared of them, the Dothraki, and why you can't face them in the open. And, you never really get that payoff. This one felt like a payoff from season one. This one felt like it had elements that were finally paid off from the very first season of the show, all the way back to the beginning, that we never got to see. And finally, the Lannister men are what's really, I want to say, remain, they're a good portion. There's probably still lots out there. The money was delivered, as they said before it started, so luckily they were able to pay their debts, but all of their men and everything just absolutely torched and crushed. It was just unbelievable. So I love the fade out scene at the end as the water, and he goes down. Jaime goes down, and you just see, him kind of floating, just because from the concussive force of the blast. Every time you get that sense, every time I believe it's Dragon, this one that Daenerys is riding. Every time it blasts and you hear the sound, whoom, 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 and it goes boom. And it's like a concussive force. It's like a blast that goes down, and just almost like there's the air would probably knockback damage, just boom, concussed you from the force of the blow of the flame and everything. Just awesome. And even the part where you see it from a side view and it comes down and it's lighting up all of the back line, all their supplies and everything right behind their lines there. just so exciting. The archers lining up and everything. Oh man, I mean, this was one of the coolest battles. This was pretty close to Battle of the Bastards for me. This was like right up there. The only difference is, of course, I think with this one is you don't have that definitive death at the end. Daenerys doesn't come down and kill Jaime and kill Bron at the same time. Had she have done that in this episode, well, there'd be some fan outrage because Bron has a lot of fans. Let's be honest here. But at the same time, be more definitive because it's in the middle of the season. We still have a good portion of the season left. It's probably, I'd say maybe it's not at that level, but it's like it was so good in its own ways and the things that it did do that how could you rate it anything but perfect 10 out of 10? I mean, it was incredible for sure. So I don't want to go on and on for an hour and just fanboy the hell over this final battle scene, but it was just one of the coolest things ever, especially when you hear it and everything. And we get kind of it set up before by finding out that the queen's gone, like she's not there, and it's like, oh, is she? And then we see them switch to the Lannister, Jaime and the others. It's like, oh, what's gonna happen? Oh my God, something awesome is about to happen. So it was great. So let's get into some of the other stuff in the episode because there's lots of other things here as well too. So we start off with the scene with the Tyrell gold. We've got the stuff with Bron and Jaime kind of paying him, but he wants a castle, and it's not a castle he wants to take a high garden, but Jaime lets him know, like, now is not the time. If we win this war, then you can have any castle you want, and you got to see, like in this one too, Bron he's very, very useful. Out of everybody there, he's the only one that can probably say, or the only one living right now probably that can say that he was able to damage a dragon like that he was able to hurt a dragon, because all the others, we already knew that anyway, but it was just kind of cool to see. And it felt very natural in this episode for Bron because he's so skilled and he's so tricky that getting to see him as kind of like your leader hero type character, like your advanced. I don't mean hero as a good guy in this stance, but I mean as like higher than all the others you play, RPGs and that kind of stuff. He's kind of like one of your standouts, right? Versus your red shirts who are your Lannister men in the red and gold with the shield and everything. So I really like the way they used him in this episode because it really added fear on both sides, and it was kind of funny the stuff at the beginning with the wanting a castle and all that. Get the scenes with the Iron Bank and Cersei, them paying their debts, and it looks like they were able to. The Iron Bank's kind of upset because they're not going to get their interest payments, right? Banks are some of the best, if you want to invest in anything, but buying shares in a bank is probably a good idea because they want people to be in debt. They want people to pay, but they also want them to be in debt. They don't want them to be caught up, because then they don't get their interest payments, right? They don't get their free money. So that was kind of cool. And then Cersei says about how she wants to basically control everything. That's pretty much her goal, is controlling all of Westeros. You've got Baelish, who gives Bran the dagger, cat's paw, and him saying chaos is a ladder. I love that when he said that to him, because he's into full-on, I call it Dr. Manhattan mode, which if you've ever seen Watchmen, that's what this reminds me most of, or what I would see this as most probably inspired by, to be honest, where he becomes very detached. He kind of becomes so kind of intelligent and out there that he kind of goes to the next level of not really having that animalistic side, the old brain, to him, and just really kind of going to that next level of what eventually humanity may get to, where we become totally kind of detached from those animalistic emotions that we have. So in this one we get to see that, and I kind of don't like him, and I think probably most of us don't, because you got Mira, and she literally, and like she says, she's leaving, but she almost died for him. The others did die for him, Hodor and all the others, or Jojen and all the others did. And she suffered so badly for him, and he's just like, okay, bye. He's just very, very detached. So I'm not really Bran anymore. And she kind of is sad because it's kind of like he's not dead, but it's kind of like he's not really human anymore in the same way, being the three-eyed raven and everything now. So his Dr. Manhattan mode is at least very interesting. I did like it, and it really gives him some good lines to say to people, knowing that he knows things that nobody's supposed to know, and he keeps weirding everybody out by bringing up stuff that might be some of their secrets or things they might not want to talk about. He kind of brings it up as if he already knows. He's kind of all-knowing in that way, which is kind of cool. We've got Arya, who arrives back at Winterfell. Man, this was another part of the episode. So not just do we get an amazing fight sequence at the end, some of the best we've ever seen, but we also get to see kind of the Starks reunite again at Winterfell. Man, that's another season 1 callback for sure. I mean, right back to like the premiere episode to get to see Bran and Arya and Sansa, all of them kind of reunited again, laughing, and the guards not believing her was also funny. You've got just all these great scenes in there. She did, like, just her sitting there looking around. You hear kind of the theme music and everything, and you just have her look around, and she kind of sneaks in and everything. And Sansa knows right away where she is, so she goes down and sees her. And you've got the statue of Eddard, which is also really a wicked cool throwback to the first season. And their father and everything, which was really cool. Wait until Jon sees you. So Sansa, of course, is excited for Jon to see Arya. Arya's list was really cool, and Sansa kind of laughing because she doesn't really know. It's like, they've grown up so much and they've gone in their own different ways so much so that they don't know each other anymore. They don't know who they are. They look different. They're older now, of course, and they've changed so much and gone in their own different ways. And also, the wicked cool scene of her and Brienne fighting was just amazing because at first, it's kind of like Arya's besting her, and it was so cool to see that fight sequence and Sansa be like holy shit, and same with Littlefinger, just really, really cool. Really love that stuff. So who's on your list? Most of them are dead already, right? So that was cool. And Bran gives her the cat's paw, the Valyrian steel dagger, which is really sweet. We've got Daenerys and Jon. So we've got that. We've got the caves. We've got many things from Missandei. So girl talk, right? Girl talk. So that's funny. And then Jon shows her all the stuff in the cave, the dragon glass, the children of the forest, fought together against the White Walkers, and you can see like a little drawing of the Night King in there, which is cool. Night's King. And then we've got so Daenerys in the conversation about fighting for the North and doing what's right for them and bending the knee, for their survival versus his own pride. And I never got the sense. I think Daenerys is wrong about that. I don't think that Jon doesn't want to bend the knee for pride. I really don't think that's what it is. I think it's more that he's a little bit careful at this point. He wants to be pretty careful about what he does here, and he's not sure. And he's also had people, mutiny against him before. So he wants to be probably really careful about what he does here and about, his people and the people that he supports, or that are supporting him, of course, in the North, and them not trusting Southerners, obviously. So, I understood both sides of that, and I definitely am with Jon on that one, I want to say. We've got Tyrion telling Daenerys, so Daenerys being super pissed off about what happened with Casterly Rock and, Grey Worm and the others kind of being not really stuck there, but kind of stuck there a little bit. Going to take a while to get back. And then we've got, Jon, her asking Jon for advice, which I really like that scene where she kind of reaches out to him. Well, what do you think I should do? And Jon's advice was really good, which is, to build a world that's different. So if you do it like them, you're just more of the same, right? If you go and you just kill them all, destroy everything, burn the whole castle down, burn King's Landing, whatever, then you really are just the same as them. So build a world that's different. So do it the right way, be different. And we got to see her do that as she goes after their forces rather than going after going straight to King's Landing right away, and having to kill so many innocent bystanders, which allowed us to see some of the most exciting stuff in the whole series. So we had the training stuff, which was really good, and Missandei talking about why she chooses to serve Daenerys, and that she's a good queen, and that she does it voluntarily, and she's not forced to, and that she could leave anytime she wants to. And I think that changes how Jon sees her and changes how Jon sees them. So I also liked how Arya talked about Brienne beating the Hound. So you beat the Hound, wanting to train with her, and no one taught her. So I like that as well too. That was pretty clever as well. So. And then it brings us to, pretty much the scene. The Theon part too, right? So you have Jon won't kill Theon because of some of the things he did, like he helped Sansa. And, so that's why Jon... I didn't think Jon was going to kill him, to be honest. I mean, obviously, Theon's done things that are wrong against the Starks, but and he is a traitor, but Jon, he's seen a lot as well, too, and I didn't expect him to do much. So, the gold getting through to King's Landing, and Dickon, the funny part about men shitting themselves again, which I also didn't really know. I never really knew that when people die, they shit themselves, but I guess it makes sense, kind of. It's not something that you think about every day, but really funny. And then the sound as the storm arrives and the tidal wave of Daenerys' forces hit. So all in all, I mean, flee, you idiot. Fucking idiot. Just one of the best episodes of Game of Thrones ever, for sure. I mean, this one will go down as just doing so many things for the series, so incredible, and really, I mean, this really is. It's hard to say this isn't the best series ever made. If you're a fan of this type of, it's a new type of genre actually. It's fantasy done right, I suppose. It's fantasy done more genuinely than it usually is done, which I think is amazing to see. It's just one of the goddamn best shows ever, absolutely. And this episode just, killed it, just absolutely killing it. I loved it, man. It was next level kind of awesome. It was genre defining type of stuff we got to see in this. If we weren't already there, Game of Thrones just keeps bringing it to another level, to another level, to another level. Who's going to be able to touch that in the next 10 or 20 years? As far as producers, I have no idea if anyone's going to be able to. That epic. So let me know what you guys thought. Reactions. What did you think? I mean, this episode was unbelievable for me. Write those comments below. If you like this review, don't forget, thumb it up, guys. Thumb it up below. If you want to help support the channel, you can do so through Patreon. I'll have the link in the description to the Patreon. If you want to pledge $1 or whatever, that's cool. I appreciate it. And that's it for this one, guys. I hope you liked the video. I'll be back in an hour for my predictions for episode 5. Just mind-blowing, amazing episode. Hope you guys liked it. That's it for this one, guys. See you again soon for the predictions. As always, this is Trev. I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.